So, when did you start playing Smash Brothers?
I started to play the day it came out, and I started to play competitive back in '05, the first tournament ever in Sweden. I wasn't even 12 back then.
Nice, nice. So what was that environment like the first time that you stepped into a tournament scene?
How do you mean?
Like, was it a little overwhelming, like with all the people there?
Yeah, it really was. I think it was around 90 people or something. It was a lot of new faces and a totally new experience. But it was really fun, so I kept going to tournaments.
When did you realize you were starting to get a little better?
I don't know actually, because maybe the first 1.5 year I was pretty stuck, maybe around top 15, 20 in Sweden or something. But my first really good tournament was back in '07 January, and I beat a former top player from Sweden, Smash Alex, and back then I realized I was good.
Nice. When you started getting good, did people like look at you differently? Did you suddenly become like the guy to go defeat?
Yeah, pretty much. Like more people started talking to me and like asking questions and trying to be around me. At least it felt like that. But I also was like getting older. Like when I started, wasn't even 12 years. So I guess it both ways. Like both are getting better and both are getting older.
Yeah, yeah. Your brother plays too, right?
Yeah, two of my brothers actually. Anilas, my older brother, and Android, my little brother.
Nice. Are they any good?
Yeah, they're good. Anilas is my teammate, and yeah, both of them they're good.
Nice, nice. When was the first time did you come to the U.S.?
First time I came to the US was back in '09, the summer, for Genesis 1.
And what was that experience like? What was Genesis like?
It was a totally new experience comparing to the European tournament. It was like much more people, it was much more hype, and yeah, it was like, felt like more professional, and it was like more tournaments, a little bit less friendlies and stuff like that, but it was a totally new experience and I really liked it.
When you were fighting Mango for the finals, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. What was that experience like, fighting Mango?
Yeah, it was also totally new experience because in Europe they pretty much don't share for anyone, a bit more of a respect part, but in US that doesn't happen. So everyone share against me, but yeah, it's cool. I like block the crowd out, so it didn't affect me. So no Johns there.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. They have that term in Europe, Johns.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Or actually, we have a Swedish term, Inga Jonas. It's pretty much no Johns, because he used to like using much Johns back in the time.
That's awesome. Was that when you lost the first time to at the first Genesis to Mango? What was that tough?
Yeah, it was really tough actually, because like from the beginning, I wasn't really sure how good I was compared to Americans. But I remember I played with both Mewtwo King and Mango in friendlies, and I felt like, yeah, I'm at least as good as these guys. And in the finals, I was ahead the whole time, and then barely lost, like getting rest out from my role, and it really felt like it was my tournament, and yeah, and like 300 people, maybe even more, was like USA, so it felt really hard. And I was only 16 back then, so I guess I took it a little bit harder.
Did that like empower you? Did you want to like practice more and stuff?
Yeah, like when I came home, I started practicing even harder, like all the time, pretty much.
And then Genesis 2, what happened there?
I beat him, like finally, 2 years after my first tournament in the US. It felt like this venue, these people, this place, everything was perfect. Even like back in Pound 4 and stuff like that, the tournaments right after the first Genesis, it felt like I need to go back to this venue to beat Mango, and somehow it happened.
What was that? What did that feel like for you when you beat him?
Proud and relieved, like proud of like 6 years, 7 years of work finally getting paid off, like my goal from like the first tournament pretty much, and relieved that yeah, I did it.
Yeah. You're the best in the world.
Yeah, I guess so, at least.
What would you say is kind of like because you play Peach really, really well, and you also play a bunch of other characters really, really well, like really solidly. If Peach wasn't part of it. What other character would you play?
It's a really hard question. I think I would switch between Sheik and one of the spaces. Like 3 characters is too much to play. I think 2 characters the best to play. Like one character can be really hard because some matchups are really hard, and 3 is like too much. Like play 3 characters on top level. I think so. Sheik and one of the spaces. I think.
What do you think about? Because I know you mentioned that it's a little different between the States and Europe. The trash talk. Is there
Yeah.
a lot of trash talk in Europe versus.
Yeah, but I think in general it's more like almost everyone in US trash talk for a bit, but it's more like some people in Europe. But like the level of trash talk is pretty much the same between the guys that trash talk in Europe and the guys that trash talk in US. But
Gotcha.
it's more about the trash talk in the US. But it's fun though.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah.
Have you made a lot of friends through Melee?
Yeah, like I have so many friends from Melee, like real friends. I don't need to play like Melee to be with them. It's like we're real friends. So it's really fun to have like many friends in a community I love. Like I think I wouldn't have played Melee if it wasn't for the community. Not this long at least.
It feels like it's it's like a tight knit kind of community.
Yeah, it really is.
In terms of like the future of Melee, what do you kind of see? Do you see more people playing Peach because of you?
Yeah, I actually think after the first Genesis it become way more Peach players, both in Europe and US. It felt like after Genesis 1, Melee was like revived again, you know, like the scene woke up in another perspective, and like Pound 4, like a half year after Genesis, is the biggest tournament in the entire Smash career. So yeah, I think so. Both Peach and Smash woke up after Genesis 1 again.
Have you ever hung out with Mango outside of Melee?
Nah, not so much. Like most of the time I'm leaving the country pretty soon after the tournament, but yeah, we play some friendlies, have fun, talk. He's a cool guy.
What do you think about Mewtwo King?
Mewtwo King, he's a really nice guy. A bit weird, but I like him.
Nice.
He always mean well to people, and I like that. He's always trying to help people with stuff. He have helped me with Melee, like advice, stuff, and getting players to the country, and yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Nice. Have you played Korean DJ at all?
Yeah, I actually played a few friendlies with him yesterday, I think. In Korean DJ and Ek is my like 2 favorite players ever. So it felt really fun to actually play him in person.
Yeah.
So I was really glad when I heard he was like coming back to Melee again.
What was it? How would you describe him as a player? Like, what is his? Is he a very aggressive player, or?
I don't think I played him enough to like make a statement about aggressive and defensive, because at least today many players play more aggressive in friendlies and more defensive in tournaments. I think it's because in tournament they're like playing safe but wanna be sure to like make everything perfect aggressively when they're playing tournaments. So, but yeah, I think he was kind of aggressive back in the days. So I think he still is.
Yeah.
I want to play Sheik though.
Did you of all the players, I guess, who would give you a run for your money, who would be like up there, like the hardest player that you had a hard time fighting with? PP or M2K or Mango?
It's really hard to say. Like the last time people was like healthy, he beat me. So maybe I should say him. But Mango and I have like really tough sets all the time, and HBox is the only player I'm not playing Peach against. So it depends on, I think, one of them.
Why don't you play Peach against HBox?
Yeah, because I feel like HBox is really good against Peach, and I have less experience against top Jigglypuff players. We have like no one in Europe, and Mango is having a different style with Jigglypuff than HBox. So I have much trouble to fight him. Like I can't getting around the backer. So I felt like I need something different against him, like something that counter the backer, and like he have to approach me and not otherwise.
What do you think about like the community as a whole, like as being part of it? Do you like the community?
Yeah, I love the community. Like I said earlier, I will not still play the game if it wasn't for the community. It's like in the beginning when I started playing, it was more like, yeah, I'm playing Melee. Now it's like at least half of the part is like, yeah, getting to new more people and see old friends and stuff like that.
Nice. Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the, to the camera or to the community? Tell them anything at large, or?
Yeah, I want to say thanks to all the people that have supported me through my career and all the friends that have helped me, and for you for making this documentary. I mean.
Yeah. Thanks. Cool. Well, that was awesome. That was great.
Thanks.
I'm trying to think of anything else I want to add to you before you go flying off to Europe again. Maybe like, well, you did answer that. I don't know. I can't think of anything. You hit everything.
Yeah, I think so.
What is the? Oh, well, actually, this. What is the melee scene like in Europe?
How do you mean exactly?
Yeah, how is it different than in the U.S.? Is there any big differences between like the U.S. melee scene and the European melee scene?
I think I already answered that with the hype stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the similar thing,
Yeah.
Except for that part.
Nice. Cool. Well, you covered it, man. Awesome. Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
But yeah, if you have any questions later,
Perfect.
Free.
Awesome. All right.
Wait, you to look you or the camera?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cool. So first, when did you start playing this game?
Started playing in the summer of 2007. You want me to elaborate on that,
Yeah.
or?
I'm just gonna set you up and I'll let you.
Okay.
Start talking.
Well, let's see. Well, I've been playing since the game came out, like a lot of people had, and I actually got kind of lucky how I found out about competitive play. I was playing a lot of Mario, and I was beating up on my little brother and like a couple other people every now and then. I was like, and one day I was just real bored, and I thought, I wonder if there are people out there that can beat my Mario. I was like really curious. I was like, they're professional players for other games or something, right? Maybe they're professional video game players. And so YouTube was still kind of like new to like the masses at the time. But I was like, okay, maybe I'll YouTube search it. Maybe there'll be a video I can watch. That'd be cool. And so I YouTube searched professional Super Smash Bros. Melee players, and I actually found some Captain Jack videos, and who I met him yesterday, so that was kind of cool. And I was blown away. They had it had a DDR song playing in the background and everything. So I was freaking out. How are they moving so fast? And I was almost that guy that asked if it was lightning melee, but I was like, no, they're spawning too slow, so it's not lightning melee. And eventually, I kept getting related videos on the sidebar because I was just trying to figure out what was going on, and it got to Wax Advanced How to Play, and he's the man for making that because I learned that, and then he had the link to Smashboards, and it just kind of kept going from there. And I finally found tournament scene and got going from there. I went to my first North Carolina tournament about 4 months later, got fourth.
Nice. First tournament, you got fourth.
Mario, and I tried Falco on the third best player in the state, and he beat it anyway, so it didn't matter what I did. But yeah, I got fourth over everyone else.
Dude, that's awesome. What was that for? Were you intimidated at all when you came into the tournament scene?
I was intimidated, yeah. It kind of helped that I didn't have my license at the time. I was a little young, but my dad drove me, and so he was there. I mean, he didn't really say much to me. He was just kind of watching, make sure the kids weren't all like drug addicts or whatever. And I get there, and it's real. And the North Carolina scene's really friendly. They're really good people. I had Lawser, who's now my teammate, and he was the best in North Carolina at the time. He comes up. He was one of the first people I talked to, and he's, hey, where are you from? I'm from Rocky Mount. I'm pretty good. I play Fox, and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, I like this guy a lot. And it turned out when I got knocked out of the tournament, we talked more, and he's like. And he played me some. He really liked my Mario. He said, "I'll go Mario in finals for you." And, he lost because Mario was kind of, but yeah, he was a real good guy, and everyone was real friendly to me. And so I really got into it pretty well. And I really wanted to compete, So even though there was a tension, it was friendly people, and it was good play. So I really liked it.
Nice. When did you realize that you were a Falco player at heart?
I don't know if I could even say I was a Falco player or not. I sort of forced myself onto him, I guess you could say, because funny thing is, I've decided I wanted to main him at my third tournament after I've been playing for half a year. I went to South Carolina, and that was where I met Everlasting Yay, and he whooped me in first round, and he whooped me good. And then I went to losers, and I think I maybe beat someone that I lost to, like a Peach main. Because he was from Georgia. His name is T-Bag. He was pretty good, and I got like ninth or something. So it was like lower than what I've ever placed in North Carolina. I got fourth twice, then I got ninth at this, and so I was like, but I was playing Mario, Marth, and Falco all at the same time, and so I thought, yeah, I'm not doing this 3-character thing. I'm picking one, and I'm gonna go all the way with them. And the reason I was playing Marth and Falco, actually, like, I'd found the tier list when I was on Smashboards. I wasn't real good at Smashboards. I was an internet idiot for a while to navigate, but I found the tier list finally, and I was like, oh, see, these are good characters, and this is how good they are. So I said, okay, let's see. I need to find out how to play them, because I didn't know where the character boards were, and like I said, I was bad. And so I like, okay, I'm gonna YouTube. YouTube's might be my friend. So I was like, okay, I'll look up like how to play Fox, how to play Marth, how to play Sheik, how to play Falco. Like those were like the top 4 at the time, and in that order. And there was this guy Overswarm who had created how to play guides for Marth and Falco. So I was like, all right, picking up Marth and Falco. I know how to play them now because I got a little bit of advice on how to do it. So that's eventually I'd like to make some how to play guides for people like me. You know, I feel like I should give that back, give other people the same chance. And so, you know, I felt a little more partial to Marth because at the time, like, Ken was really cool and Mewtwo King was winning and everyone's like, oh my gosh, these Marths and everything. So I was a little more partial to Marth, actually. But yeah, so anyways, a little backstory on that. And okay, so I get ninth, right? And I'm mad, and I'm walking around and I'm trying to, like, okay, I need to play some friendlies, I need to figure this out, you know. And so I go and sit down with another kid who's playing there, and this is Soft, who ended up being the Jigglypuff in the South after a while. But he wasn't at the time. It was after there's been different stories about that, but it doesn't matter. But we started playing friendlies, and I was like, okay, hey, can you play my Marth and my Falco and tell me which is better? And he said, yeah, sure. You know, of course, in the Smash community, nice people, right? And so I'm start playing him, and I felt like my Marth did a little bit better. It was pretty similar performances, I'll admit. And I asked him, after we had played for like half an hour. So I said, so what do you think? And he said, I think your Falco did a little bit better. And I said, really? And I was like, nah. You know, I kind of wanted to shrug it off. You know, I was like, nah. But you know, an outside perspective, you know, you can't turn that down because they're not like all mad like you are. And I didn't decide at the tournament, but that was with the seed that started it. So I go home. And I'm like, all right, I got to work on my Marth, you know, because I still wanted to play Marth despite that. And Twitch, my little brother, who's been phenomenal training practice for 4.5 long years I've been playing this wonderful game, he was a Fox main, and so you know, he gets tired Fox is getting tired of, you know, getting up throw and grab 400 times, so you know, he picked Sheik. And you know, we still kind of sucked, so Marth Sheik is not that much fun at low level, so you know, he could hit me way more, and I was getting really mad. You know, I was like, oh, this matchup is so stupid, you know, like I can't bear to play Marth if this is what I have to put up with. So I was like, I'm gonna play Falco, and I played Falco, and his Sheik didn't give me that much trouble, and I could beat his Fox too, so I was like, all right, I'm happy playing Falco. I was like, what am I gonna do? Oh, YouTube, I'm gonna figure out how to get better at Falco. So I started watching DeShizWiz, and I fell in love with how he played, just like many other Falcos can say. There's still people that play just a lot like him because he's so fun, and he's got a really solid play style. He's really smart, taking the character really far with all of his creative combo ideas and such. And so I said, all right, I think I can play Falco as long as I, like, you know, learn things that Shiz is doing. And I gradually the character grew on me over time. And Marth, and I still really liked Marth, but he fell out of favor more and more. And so, you know, Shiz being such a wonderful inspiration, every time Shiz would put some videos out, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you know, Shades of Falco. I was watching that when it came out, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. I still watch it. That guy, wonderful player. But that's about kind of like how Falco and I got together.
Yeah. How would you describe Shiz as a guy?
Shiz is a wonderful person. He's fun. He knows how to make really good jokes, but he's still like a laid back guy. He's not like, you know, real goofy over the top. So you can't. It's hard to describe him anything other as cool. You know. I really like him. He's a good guy, and the good thing about him is like any good player that's willing to take advice with an open mind, great player in my book. That's how I try to be. And Shiz is that kind of guy. I talked to him, you know, a little bit the other day. He said, you know, I'm having a hard time playing Armada, so I was like, you know, I got you a little bit there, Shiz. And so I gave him some tips, and you know, he was like, oh, thank you. And you know, that's probably kind of humbling for him, I imagine. You know, being once considered the best Falco, and then taking advice from this, you know, new kid thinks he's all hot stuff or whatever. But you know, he's like I said, he's a real good guy about it and everything, and you know, you can. Like I say, I think you can tell a lot about a person and how they play. Like I feel like their personality just comes out. And Shiz is just a very expressive, very creative, very intelligent person. And I feel like some people don't get that vibe, but he's also doing it for the people. He wants to entertain people, and he wants to make them happy and please them. So that's another reason why like people say, oh, that was dumb or whatever. But he's doing it, you know, for you to get excited. So you know, don't hate on him. He's a good dude. Wants people to be happy. So I think he's just a great person. You know, I don't have a bad thing to say about him.
Yeah. What about Mewtwo King?
Mewtwo King. That guy, that's an interesting person. He's probably one of the most interesting men playing video games. I think him and I are similar in some very important ways, such as we can dissect YouTube videos probably for hours, find something new, find some strategy to work around with. We obviously have different approaches, being we just grew up differently and think differently, but that's a very similar quality. But the man himself, I think it's a very interesting, he has a very interesting quality about him that, you know, you play hard every single game, no matter what. Like, he doesn't, a lot of people when they think about playing a video game, like a competitive game, they're thinking, okay, you're interacting with the other person. You do something, they do something, you know, such and such, you know, you try to trick them. Mewtwo King playing he's just playing the game. He's not playing the other person necessarily. Like, he knows kind of what they want to do, but he says, this is the matchup, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. And, you know, if you're pro, noob, whatever, Mewtwo King is going to play you just about the same. He'll adapt, obviously, but he's about the same. And, you know, there have been, oh goodness, when he was the best, I heard story after story, you know, about him. You know, some little 8-year-old girl played him, and he JV5 stalked her, Martha made her cry, you know. So, you know, but I mean, that doesn't make him a bad guy. That just means that, you know, he's there he's playing the game. He's not thinking, oh, you know, what if they're going to feel bad? You know, he's like, why would you feel bad? We're just playing, you know, kind of just playing a game. I'm just playing, you know, you shouldn't. I mean, he obviously feels bad when stuff happens to him, but he's got a lot of pride. He's got so many hours invested into the game. You know, it'd be crazy if he didn't feel bad. You know, I don't blame him, but he's just thinking about playing his game all the time, and that's a great quality in a competitor, really. If you're just willing to, you know, go hard every time, you have that muscle memory ingrained into you. So he's a interesting competitor, and he's good at finding like the best options for a situation, which can lock him into a bad mindset of, you know, best option all the time. But he's smart in how he works around those kind of issues too. So I really like how he solves problems in matchups and how he finds best options. And, you know, he gets on and another interesting quality of his is he'll get on a train of thought. He literally can't stop. Like, when we've teamed together a few times, and I'm always afraid, you know, Mewtwo King will Facebook chat me. I'm like, oh, here we go. And, you know, it's the next, you know, an hour and a half later, he's told me the same thing 5 times. And it's complicated. And, you know, you do this and do this and do this. You need to remember this, you know, and he'll synthesize all the points at the end. And he's very thorough, very methodical. So I have a lot of respect for his process and his competitive nature, I suppose, the way he works the game.
Yeah. When you think about M2K versus, say, somebody like Mango, how would you compare their style?
Okay. Mewtwo King is It's funny talking to Mango about how he wants to beat Mewtwo King, because Mango knows Mewtwo King wants the best option. So he says, you just do stupid things that shouldn't work. Basically, you approach him in weird way. He says it's like, you do weird stuff. He doesn't know what to do. Well, I mean, that's Mango being really simple with his explanation and such, which is, I feel like ties into how he plays, but I'll get to that. Basically, when you see the two of them interacting with each other, you're seeing one person, this is the best option, this is how my guaranteed punish is. The other guy saying, very free form. He wants to interact with the other person. He wants to bring them into the game, but then he wants to really make them interact with them how he exactly wants them to interact. And but he gives you chances. He's like, how he does he'll do the little dash dance on Hungrybox's shield, and he'll get him to roll, and then he'll grab him. He's interacting with Hungrybox. He's not saying, okay, I'm going to wait for half a second, then run up and grab you, then up throw you. No, he says, I'm going to wait, and you're going to do this. You're going to roll because I'm forcing my will on you. It's a very typical West Coast player mentality. They're not really interested in dissecting the game so much as they are playing it and learning how to manipulate their opponent really well. Whereas Mewtwo King is just figuring out how to abuse the game as hard as he can. That's a very simple, but I think it's the most effective way to compare the two.
That's a very interesting way of putting it. I haven't heard it quite put exactly like that. It's very true. Do you think that their personalities come out like Mango?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Mango's personality... Mango does a good job of kind of hiding how he really feels about things, because he wants to put this big flashy persona out there. That match with Taj doesn't count. You see me? I F smashed his shield at the edge. And he's a smart guy putting that out there. He makes it fun for everyone. He wants to be fun. His Genesis blog said, I went out there against Armada. I was thinking to myself, I should have went Falcon, but everyone started getting hyped for me, and I said, I gotta go Fox. I gotta get on his shield, and I feel like when he does that, it's kind of like it's a shiz sort of thing as well. You can tie those two traits together at least. He wants to please people. He wants to make people happy too, but he's a lot more cocky than Shiz is, because he does the stuff where he's like, I could hit you here, and like I know I could, and you could, which is why you roll here anyway, because that I should have been hit, and so now I hit you, and everyone's like, because that's the thing he likes to do. He likes to really dig in when he gets his ideas, because he's just he likes letting people know he got them, and I think that's a interesting trait all of its own. He really likes to get into someone's head. He got into my head for a while, so it works. It's good. Let's see, the only thing that I will say that a lot of people don't know, obviously, is that front. When people don't understand, when he's getting away with all that stuff, everyone else is like, why can't I do that? Why can't I play like Mango? Because they're not seeing that he's doing a lot of safe things early on or in the middle to, so I've got this solid, very safe Fox play going on here. Okay, now I'm gonna go crazy because they're not gonna expect it, and everyone's like, oh my God, Mango, and that's the safe play. Partially comes from all those years of him playing Jigglypuff, but I feel like the reason Mango stuck with Jigglypuff like he did is because I feel like he's someone that wants to like do well. I feel like maybe there's like maybe a fear of failure in there, because he's got like a lot of people that like he wants to make happy, so he's like, I don't want to let those people down. I really like them, and I want them to like me. So it's sort of, I'm not meaning to expose Mango here, but if it happens, it happens, right? And I feel like there's some of that comes out when you watch him play safe, and you watch him do that. Before he invented like this crazy shield pressure, he invented with Falco, he did approaching Nair, shine, retreating Nair. It was very safe. It pressured a little bit, but not much. It was very reminiscent of something that a Jigglypuff would do. So I think that's something that's sort of overlooked in how he's developed, and like as he's gotten more confident as a person, as his success has risen, his cockiness and his cocky play have risen. But initially he was a very safe player. He said, no, he sort of played kind of like Mewtwo King for a little while. Very, I'm going to poke right now, and then I'm retreat, and then, laser, but not spam, laser once or twice. Okay, go back in. Very, very like weaving with Jigglypuff-ish. And that's how he does very Jigglypuff type stuff, very safe, just like kind of like how he is as a person, I suppose. I don't know if you want me to talk about anyone other than Mango or.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you can give your opinion on any of the other best players you played, like, maybe your opinion on like PC or KDJ.
I have not played Korean DJ ever in my life. No, this guy's been walking around the tournament. I kind of look at him and he doesn't look at me. I'm just like, I want to play this guy, but because another legend. The legends have all come out at this tournament. Props to Alex Strife, man. He's done a wonderful job bringing these guys out of hiding. I was sitting beside Isaiah. I hadn't sat beside him since Genesis, and I didn't think I'd see him since then because it was in California, obviously. But PC, I played him in pools, actually round 2 pools. I can't say that I've figured it out what exactly PC is thinking relative to like how he is as a dude. I know like PC's he's a real nice guy. Okay, I want to do my best this tournament, guys. Let's all have fun. Like he's not like a total pushover softy or whatever, but he's sort of more on that end, right? And I like him a lot. He does not. I don't have a bad thing to say about PC either. He's real friendly, and when I play him, there's no disrespect in his play. He's a very straightforward player, which I think may be kind of like him. His pressure, he doesn't really pressure. He's kind of like nair, shine, grab, or nair, shine, wave dash back or whatever. It's very straightforward. Okay, I do this, condition you now, then I do something else later. It's very straightforward, very sensible. And that seems like the kind of person he is. So I really like that and respect him. There's not a whole lot you can say about it. It's a straightforward thing, and so you talk about it a little bit, you're done.
Yeah. What like for the in terms of the game itself, like what is it that keeps bringing it back and bringing you to these tournaments and stuff, as versus like some other fighting games out there?
Well, I gotta start that off by saying they still have Street Fighter II tournaments at EVO. Granted, I don't think there are that many people at them, but they exist, and those guys are probably nuts. Old games, they don't. Well, first of all, they don't make them like they used to. People make that comparison across the board. And while I'm sitting here at a tournament that has more Brawl entrants than Melee, and I know that. I feel like Brawl was not the predecessor that most people were hoping for. It just doesn't have the entertainment value. And if you want to bring someone in, you want to bring in more people, which is how you grow a game and keep it exciting. The best thing you do is have entertaining play. If you're not, even if the game itself is kind of floaty, like the Europeans in Brawl are actually very entertaining to play. They're very aggressive, very very cool. So their scene's pretty interesting and very fun to watch, and they get kind of a bad rap for that, but whatever. I'd give them props, for working that. Going back to Melee, this game, even with its 10 years combo, Fox up throw up air and all that stuff, shine to the edge and all that stuff. There are innovations being made. The metagame is not stagnant. There are people there are upsets. I think one of the biggest things for this game is upsets and regional or international rivalries. Armada is probably one of the best things that's ever happened for this game. That man coming in with a character that no one thought could win anything, Peach, right? He's coming and he's whooping he whooped all of our butts at Genesis, and so everyone, and he did it at the first Genesis. He almost won the first Genesis, so everyone said, "Oh wow, this guy." Melee was just skyrocketing in popularity once they figured out this character no one thought was any good was coming, and he was just playing amazingly. And then all the Europeans and Americans are all trash talking to him. Oh, you suck! And, he was lucky one time. We're gonna figure out Peach, and character's bad or whatever.
Yeah, what is that? It seems like 10 years on, you still have characters that come out of the woodwork, and you're like, wow, this is the best character now. And this is
that I feel like some of that comes with people just not playing the right characters. Some of them, you gravitate towards what's already there, what's already good. You kind of gravitate towards that. There's some people that are really just take it and push it as hard as they can, like Axe with his Pikachu. I remember reading something from him saying, I got with Pikachu for like 2 years before I did anything, but no one heard or cared of me then. But now everyone's like, oh my God, Axe the Pikachu, and it's like, oh, he's so good, but but they don't know the story. No one thinks about the stories of those poor guys that played the characters that everyone thought was bad before they got up there, and that's the stuff that and they have to invent. They have to say, okay, what are these good moves? And you have to abuse the things the characters have. Obviously, if the characters don't have the options, then it doesn't matter. But the metagame shifting a certain way or another way allows characters to flourish. For example, when Brawl came out and Ken and Asin moved on or quit, the Marths, the people that played Marth, people that liked Marth, a lot of those people quit. So then Hungrybox was much more free to Jigglypuff and up throw ping all the foxes, and so that's kind of like metagame stuff. It keeps that character, it keeps him placing well, and if he keeps placing well, he's getting more good experience. He's allowing his character to flourish. Other people want to play Jigglypuff, and then the metagame sort of snowballs from there. And I feel like, there are people that made other characters look good that just didn't quite get all the way there, like Luigi Codmaster. He had a disgustingly good Luigi, and the last time we ever heard of that man is Pound 4, where he had a very solid showing, did a great job in the USA versus the World Crew Battle. But he just didn't quite get Luigi to prominence, so maybe Luigi's another character that can be taken up there. We don't know. He's got some good tools, but he also got his recovery's kind of there. But so it's one of those questions. Like if you asked me when when I was pretty good, will Pikachu ever get top 3, top 5 at a major? I'd have said probably not. It's like that character, no one's ever done anything with that character, why would he do it? But that's the sort of mentality that keeps those characters from coming out. So, if you think a character's good, you strike out with them, do something good. Vector Man, with his Yoshi, made it to bracket at pound 5. So, I guess I've eaten my words more than once. Not necessarily about that, but, I was like, Yoshi will never do anything either, so,
Do you have any, I'd love to hear any untold stories that you might have about, on the trail to a Smash event, or anything that no one's heard before about, like maybe the guys that you've gone up against, like Mango and PC, or.
Let's see. Okay, a real untold thing. I don't know exactly how. I feel like this new era of smashers we have is very different from the old era, so I can't really comment on that. But personally, Mango seems to take all the top players and he kind of just changes how they would all interact with each other, because I feel like without that guy, without his charisma and his energy, we'd all, not really talk to each other much, kind of collaborate in secret on our own little strategies or whatever, talk to the other people to play those characters and not really talk to each other. With him, he likes, everyone, putting everyone on blast, getting everyone out there out of their comfort zone. And, he's not afraid to go on AIM, starting with "you suck" or whatever. And so we all... no one's free from that. no one. And so when it took me a long time to get adjusted to him being like that. Not necessarily because I'm fine, talking junk in public. I don't really, I've gotten used to that. I'm messing around a little bit, having some laughs. That's not the problem. The problem was I didn't know exactly how serious he was, because he's good at it. He's really good at it. He could be better, but he's good at it. You find holes in it eventually, but no one's perfect. He made me think for the longest time none of my wins ever in friendlies were legitimate. I wouldn't even care in that game or whatever. But once I started, especially once I played him today, he'll say, oh, this game, I'm gonna try this game, and I'll say, oh no, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because like I'll talk to him on AIM and I'll say, oh, I haven't really cared, for the last however long I've played, and I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for him, like I don't even know, and then it'll be in the back of my mind when we play or whatever. And so I don't know, I feel like he's gotten into other players' heads like that before. Maybe he's still in their head like, I don't know, I don't talk to them about this. That's one of those, like I said, it's an untold thing that we all kind of wonder about, but usually never say. So it took me the longest time of just playing him to just figure out, okay, you know what? It literally, I'm just going to not take him seriously. I'll talk something back to him, but then that's as far as it goes. He said he was playing bad. I said, all right. Yeah, all I do. I said, because I won the match. I was like, all right, prove me wrong then, champ. Step it up. And, I'll let him know that.
It died right there.
It died.
Step it right inside it. Step it up. Okay, that's awesome.
Out-talked your tape. Whoops.
Let's see.
Yeah, I get on a roll.
That's my battery.
Oh, gosh. Ugh.
Let me see here.
Nah, everyone's going to see my sick beard in this interview also. Sweet.
And
Yes.
you have quite a beard going on there.
2 months in the making.
Nice. Yeah, I could not catch you even if I tried. This is the best I can do right here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't really recommend this. Doing it to beat Mango.
Nice. I don't think there's anything in here, is there? Oh, there is. Cool. Move into the windows here. Okay. Well, fortunately, it looks like fortunately, it looks like we've hit a lot of these good points that I wanted to ask you about.
Cool. Yeah, if you want me to just speed anything up, you just let me know.
Cool.
Cause I don't want to take a lot of your time now.
No, man, it's great.
But this is something I'll just talk forever about. So if you just need me to speed up, you can just make a motion or something. I was like, all right, I'll wrap it up.
It's good. A lot of this stuff, the best stuff almost comes out when you're not even thinking about it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Well, let me have you talk a little bit more about your any other untold things. 'Cause that's like the real interesting, I think, thing about it, like for people that just they haven't heard a lot of.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of that kind of stuff you don't really hear about unless you're up there. Like a lot of exclusive things, like how people treat you. All the. I hear about like all these hosts or all these good players are like all friendly to me, and I'm like, oh hey, yeah, let me shake your hand. You're real cool. I saw you at such and such. You did a real good job or whatever, and then I'll have like some North Carolina buddies with me, and they'll say, so and so was a real dick to me, and I'm like, really? They were nice to me, and then it's after a while you start realizing. I mean that's more of a common thing than what I said before, because that's just like because that before is just Mango's exclusiveness and all that stuff. But yeah, like people perceptions are all altered and everything when someone good steps in the room. You want to be that good player's friend, because maybe they'll let you have a win in pools or something if you're real good buddies with them, stuff like that. Hope your friends make it out. Then they have fun with you later, and stuff like that.
Is that kind of like the being like well known now?
Yeah, I mean, I try to. I mean, I don't do anything like give people wins in pools. Like people have asked, like, I'll give you $20. Like, no, I don't want your money. Like I'm playing for money. Why would I? Like, come on, let's just play. I try to stay away from that stuff. Like,
You ever sandbag anybody?
What do you mean just in pools? Do you mean like in bracket or good players? What do you mean?
Isaiah style sandbag.
Isaiah style sandbag. I don't have such elaborate sandbagging. I mean, there was a time where I was getting pretty good. I was like, I should work on my sandbag. I remember thinking that, and I didn't think it was stupid at the time. I feel kind of dumb saying it now, but I was like, I gotta work on my sandbag, because this is when I wasn't going to a whole lot, I don't think, and I was playing with like people that I was like training and teaching. So like I need to work on my sandbag because like if they do well, they want to feel good, right? So I was like, I got to work on this. I got pretty good at it for the time, and I kind of lost it, and had to build like kind of how I'll goof around or whatever up. Now I've decided if I'm gonna mess around with anyone like outside of tournament, I'll make it real obvious that I'm messing around, and I'll laugh, or I'll spam F smash and yell F smash, which I'm trying to make like a thing right now, but yeah, nothing elaborate. If I get on my if I get like a little ahead of the metagame or something a little bit, maybe. And I'll think about it, because not for like video purposes or like someone like learning what I do, because honestly, if someone can learn what I do and beat me in a video and I can't adapt, I deserve to lose. That's what I've decided. Like I used to be scared and I used to be like that, and I was like, no, I deserve to lose if I can lose like that. So none of that. It's just for me seeing what I can do purposes. Just like whenever I try to improve myself, it's not for anti-competition or whatever.
What is playing Armada like?
It's a hard question because last time I played him, I was not exactly in the right frame of mind. But if we go, he kind of feels he's a very serious person. So you can see that in his play. There's none of this messing around stuff. You're Peach, right? You're kind of a character, so there's no messing around. You dead. None of this. They're a stupid character that can kill you, and they got a dumb matchup, and you kill them, right? Because so much all that. He's got a lot to prove or whatever. Very serious guy, and now I respect that, obviously. Playing him, he's kind of like the way Hungrybox and I have developed, in that we're all sort of like weaker versions of how Mewtwo King kind of developed things. Like we're picking good options and we're trying to cover it a lot and whatever, but we're not as good at it. But like we have our own little quirks that we're like good at, that like trip up like Mewtwo King or whatever. Like, but that's sort of a different thing. So I'm like getting a little tangent there, but Armada's really good at he's really good at his shield. I think, I'm not sure if like that's the thing, but goodness, I don't know what else to call it. Like his defense is absurd. His shield is always angled just right. Even it's like I have tiny fingernails. It's like smaller than my fingernail length, and it just won't break. I have never seen his shield break ever in my life, and I've 400 times I've seen it that big, and he's done. He'll run away for a couple minutes. He'll shield again, and it'll be that big, and he'll just shield the hit, and I'm just like, it doesn't make any sense. But his defense is incredibly good, and between his shield, and see that his shield is really powerful, not just because his angling, but because of what he can do out of it. Like his Nair comes out in like 6 frames or something, and it's a really powerful move and beats a lot of stuff, or trades, because Peach doesn't care about trading because he's floating. The other characters are like, oh, it's too much damage. Ooh. So they get hit. They don't like that too much. So you can get Nair, and if he does a float cancel one, he can go into down smash. So you got to kind of worry about him transitioning into offense really quickly out of it. But then so you got a character with a strong shield, able to transition, able to push you away, and he's also able to move back and counter your attack. Like with he's got a good wave dash back down tilt, wave dash back down smash or whatever. And so you've got to, and it's it's like, whatever, but they're in their shield, right? Like it should be an advantageous situation. Well, it can be. I'm not saying, I'm not saying like it's impossible. I'm not Johnny or whatever, but I'm saying like he really understands his options and he's really good at making the most out of that situation with this character's shield. And I feel like that's something that people just would not have explored without him. Like, I feel like Mango and I have, at least, maybe Hungrybox did this too. Maybe did it on it separately. I don't know. I hadn't talked to him about it. We've done more things with like holding shield and like messing with people using shield because of him. I'm pretty sure. And so I feel like that's sort of his contribution. And like out of shield is such a crazy thing. It's a bunch of new innovations, which is, I meant to say, these innovations are part of the reason why new characters come up too. Like technical fast things are better for Pikachu, which is what I meant to say earlier. I forgot. So yeah, there's that too.
Nice. Cool. Is there anything else you want to say to the Smash community, or just kind of the future of Smash, looking ahead?
Looking ahead, I think like remember when I said there's nothing better when there's like an upset or whatever. I don't know if I necessarily want more upsets. I want a new really good player. Like he can upset or whatever, but like he doesn't even have to necessarily. He can just have close sets with good players and it'll be really interesting. I want a new good player. Doesn't matter who he plays, doesn't matter how he plays, really, because people support him instantly because he's new. I want a new good player, and I think that's one of the best things this game could have. Really like that to happen. Other than that, I think eventually all the top players will stop being lazy and start shield dropping, hopefully, so platforms will get more ridiculous, hopefully. I don't know how long that'll take. I mean, I know I've been lazy, so bad. But I'm not sure what else to say. I feel like the metagame kind of runs in cycles in terms of offense and defense. So, we're kind of in a defensive phase right now, but it's not really for just Smash. It's kind of like across the board because, like, I feel like Street Fighter has like gotten kind of defensive, not necessarily because of the nature of the game either. So I feel like maybe we'll cycle back to offense due to like Mango's influence, hopefully my influence because I'm trying to play a little more aggressively. We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed again. I'm not. Like I said, I think hopefully we'll see a little more platform use. Hope for a new player. As to the Smash community, to the Melee community, whoever, always wonderful people. Always great to read whatever you think of me, good or bad. I know I always appreciate criticism. I guess. I didn't think a 10-year-old game could be kept alive, but wonderful people make it happen, and they're all real wonderful, and hopefully we keep it going. Hopefully keep this wonderful game alive. All the hype.
Hell yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thank you. I just kind of ambushed you in the hall, and
That was fine.
I don't know if you were going off. What are you guys doing now?
I actually have to take him back to where we were sleeping because he left his phone there, and he's been asking me